Hey everyone, it is Thursday, and what a crazy week it has been in the soap world. Welcome back to the channel. Grab a coffee, grab a snack, because we have a massive amount of drama to unpack today, and honestly, my head is still spinning from everything that just went down. Let's just jump right into the madness. And honestly, where do we even begin with this absolute train wreck of a situation? The tension has officially reached its absolute peak over at Forrester Creations, and I am still trying to process what we just watched. For weeks now, we have been watching this corporate war completely tear these families apart. Hope defecting to Logan, Katie and Bill orchestrating the biggest fashion coup of the decade, Brooke slapping Katie across the face, Eric publicly humiliating Donna and kicking her out of the executive office. It has been non-stop chaos. But somehow, amidst all of this high-level corporate sabotage and fashion industry drama, the real victims ended up being the kids. The younger generation is paying the price for their parents' toxic ambition. And it all exploded in the most tragic, messy way possible at the beach house. So let's talk about Will Spencer, poor, conflicted, overwhelmed Will Spencer. We all saw him completely lose his mind and repeatedly punch RJ Forrester in the face. It was brutal. Ray J was left battered and bruised, and Elektra was so horrified that she ended her relationship with Will right then and there, throwing her necklace at him and moving out. And look, I am not defending violence. Will was wrong. He was completely out of control. But you guys, you have to look at the context here. Will was drowning in guilt. He was forced by his own mother to hide massive corporate secrets from the woman he loves. He had to hide Hope's defection. He had to hide Shauna's rival jewelry line. He had to hide the fact that the hope for the future diamond was being used for Logan's launch. The pressure completely broke him. But of course, Ridge Forrester doesn't care about context. Ridge only cares about Ridge and his own bloodline, so Ridge goes on the absolute warpath. He corners Elektra, demanding she cut all ties with Will, and now the situation has escalated to a terrifying new level. Ridge is actually threatening to send Will to prison for assault. Yes, you heard me right. Prison. He wants to press charges and put Will behind bars for beating up RJ. And let's just pause right here for a second because I need to rant. What were the writers thinking with Ridge's staggering hypocrisy? Who actually believes Ridge has any moral high ground here? Let's be real, the man literally just punched Bill Spencer in the face a few episodes ago. He assaulted Bill in the middle of this exact same corporate war. But now, because it happened to his precious son RJ, suddenly Ridge is the patron saint of law and order. Suddenly he is ready to ruin a young man's life and throw him in a jail cell. It is infuriating. Okay, maybe I'm being too harsh on Ridge because seeing your kid get beat up is awful, but you get what I mean. The double standard is just blinding. So Ridge is making these massive threats, and the reality of the situation finally hits Katie Logan. The victorious, ambitious, successful Katie Logan, who just pulled off the fashion event of the year, suddenly realizes that she is about to lose her son. Her corporate victory means absolutely nothing if Will is sitting in a prison cell. And this is where the episode just completely took my breath away, because Katie does the unthinkable. Katie actually walks right into the lion's den. She marches straight into Forrester Creations, straight into the CEO office, where Ridge is standing there looking smug and furious. You can cut the tension in the room with a knife. This is the woman who just stole Hope, the woman who humiliated Eric's haute couture return, the woman Brooke just slapped. She is enemy number one in that building, but she doesn't care. Because she is a mother desperate to save her son. And then it happens. Katie drops to her knees. She actually gets on her knees in the middle of the Forrester Creations CEO office. Right there on the floor, I was screaming at my screen. You guys, Katie Logan, the proud CEO of her own fashion house, begging at the feet of Ridge Forrester. It was so raw and so uncomfortable to watch, but it was also incredibly powerful. She is sobbing, looking up at Ridge, begging him not to ruin Will's future. She is pleading with him to drop the police threats, to let this go, to spare her boy. And she doesn't just beg, she confesses. Katie breaks down and admits that this is all her fault. She tells Ridge that it was her ambition, her relentless drive to beat Forrester Creations, and her corporate secrets that pushed Will over the edge. She admits that forcing Will to lie to Elektra about Hope and the diamond completely shattered his mental state. She confesses that Will has been howling at the moon, telling her that he feels completely out of control of his own temper. Katie takes all the blame. She tells Ridge that Will's psychological instability is a direct result of the toxic war she and Bill started. She broke her own son's mind for a fashion show, and she is begging Ridge not to make Will pay the ultimate price for her sins. It was just, wow, short punches of emotion. Just complete madness. I mean, honestly, who saw that coming? We are so used to these characters screaming at each other and throwing drinks, but to see a mother completely strip away her pride and kneel on the floor, that is a whole different level of daytime drama. And Ridge is just standing there, completely stunned. You could see the shock on his face. He was ready for a fight. He was ready to yell and scream and threaten her with lawyers and cops. But he was not ready for a broken mother crying at his feet. Ridge's pride was suddenly standing face to face with a mother's deep, agonizing pain. He didn't know what to do. He just froze. Will Ridge actually soften? That is the million-dollar question right now. I want to believe that there is still a shred of humanity left in Ridge Forrester. I want to believe that seeing Katie, a woman he has known for decades, a woman who is the sister of the love of his life begging on the floor, would melt his cold heart. But this isn't just about the law anymore. This confrontation isn't just about Will and RJ. It is about the deep, festering rift between the two biggest families in Los Angeles. The Forresters and the Spencers are at all-out war. Ridge hates Bill Spencer with a burning passion. Will Ridge let his hatred for the Spencers override his basic human decency? Will he look at Katie crying on the floor and just see an opportunity to crush Bill's family once and for all? And speaking of Bill, oh my God, what is Bill Spencer going to do when he finds out about this? Bill just had a heart-to-heart with Will, telling him not to give up on Elektra. Bill told Will that keeping secrets was just business and that he shouldn't feel guilty. Bill is riding high on his corporate victory. If Bill finds out that the mother of his child had to get on her knees and beg Ridge Forrester for mercy, Bill will go nuclear. He will burn Forrester Creations to the ground. There will be no coming back from that. The violence we saw at the beach house will look like a playground squabble compared to what Bill Spencer will do to Ridge. And let's not forget Brooke in all of this. Brooke is already completely unhinged. She disowned Hope. She evicted Hope and Liam from the cabin. She slapped Katie hard across the face. Brooke declared Katie her #1 enemy. If Brooke walked into that CEO office and saw Katie on her knees begging Ridge, part of me thinks Brooke would actually enjoy it. And that is a terrifying thought. The Logan sisters are completely shattered. Donna is fired, Katie is begging on the floor, and Brooke is acting like a vengeful dictator. It is a total disaster. But let's pull back and look at Will for a second. How is Will going to feel when he finds out his mother begged for his freedom? Will is already drowning in shame. He knows he messed up. He knows he let his temper get the best of him. He lost Elektra, the girl he loves, because he couldn't handle the pressure of the Spencer legacy. If he finds out Katie sacrificed her dignity for him, it might push him even further into that dark, psychological hole. Will is already questioning his own mental health. This could break him permanently. I just keep thinking about the bigger pattern here. This show always pits these two families against each other, but this storyline feels different. It feels darker. Usually, it's just about who gets to design the next dress or who gets to date who. But now we are talking about prison. We are talking about severe psychological instability. We are talking about physical violence that leaves people battered. The stakes are so much higher, and the emotional toll on these characters is just devastating. Maybe the writers are pushing it a little too far. I don't know. Sometimes I watch these episodes and I think, okay, this is just misery porn at this point. Everyone is miserable. Zende is miserable because his line got canceled. Steffy is miserable and plotting revenge. Eric is miserable and freezing out his wife. Hope is having literal panic attacks and passing out on the floor. And now Katie is on her knees crying. Can we get one happy moment? Just one? But I guess that's why we keep tuning in, right? We love the mess. We live for the mess. And this scene in the CEO office is going to go down in history as one of the most intense confrontations we've had in years. Ridge standing there, paralyzed by his own pride and hatred. Katie, stripped of all her corporate armor, just a terrified mother pleading for her son's life. It was brilliant acting, even if the storyline itself is making me want to pull my hair out. So what happens next? Does Ridge pick up the phone and call the police? Does he force RJ to press charges? Or does he look at Katie, remember that she is family, and tell her to get up? Honestly, with the way Ridge has been acting lately, I wouldn't put it past him to just step over her and call the cops anyway. The man is on a massive power trip. He loves controlling Elektra, he loves punishing the Spencers, and he loves playing God. We will just have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. But you guys, I need to know your thoughts. Do you think Ridge will soften? Do you think Katie went too far by getting on her knees? And what is Bill going to do when he inevitably finds out? Sound off in the comments because I am dying to read your theories. I am going to go get another cup of coffee and try to calm down before the next episode airs. Thanks for sticking with me through this massive rant, and I will see you guys in the next video.